Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sorry to keep you
Can
waiting.
can you check Anita is there?
I don't see her.
I told her she is waiting to join. I send the same link to her. That will work.
It will work if she joins, but I don't see her.
Okay. I send a message.
That's okay. We can start. I had,
Can you record it? Then I can send that also to her.
yeah, it's getting recorded.
Okay.
So you want to share something from what we did last time?
What was that? I remember that Dhritarashtra inquiring about inquiring to Sanjaya what is going on in the Kurukshetra. Regardless of Pandu's children, he always asking about Yudhishthira. That sin is the death of all the children. That's the way I understand. His intention, only his children, not considering Pandu's children.
Yeah, and he wanted his sons to become the king.
Yes.
Because he could not become the king because he was blind.
Mm.
And it is said that he was not only materially blind, but he was spiritually blind. Because he was not on the path of righteousness, or he was not looking for what's religiously correct. He just had a desire to become the king, and he was imposing that desire on his sons. Ideally, Pandu's sons should become the king because Pandu was the elder brother. But he wanted his sons to become the king because, okay, the story, no, Dhritarashtra was the elder brother.
Elder brother, yeah.
Pandu was the younger brother. But because Dhritarashtra was blind, Pandu was to become the king. And what happened is,
his children will become king.
Yeah, his children will become the king because now between Pandu's children and Dhritarashtra's children, Pandu's children were elder. So righteously, Pandu's children should become the king. And Dhritarashtra was the, what to say, he was guarding the kingdom because Pandu died. So Pandu became the king, but very soon after Pandu became the king, Pandu died. So the kingdom was given in the care of Dhritarashtra, saying that when Pandu's children grow up, you should give the kingdom to Pandu's children. That was the agreement. And then now Dhritarashtra has this desire that because I was blind, I could not become the king. So now my sons should become the king. So his sons carried forward that desire from their father. And that's the whole story, like.
Yes.
So let's read further. I think this is where we are.
Number 4.
Yeah, we did 3, so we should do 4. So yes. You will see on my screen text number 4. Text number 4 says, Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhima Arjuna Samayudhi Yuyudhano Viratascha Draupadascha Maharathaha. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yuyudhana, Viratha, and Drupada. Purport. Even though Drishtadyumna was not a very important obstacle in the face of Dronacharya, very great power in the military art, there were many others who were causes of fear. They are mentioned by Duryodhana as great stumbling blocks on the path of victory because each and every one of them was as formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna, and thus he compared the others with them. So the storyline is that Duryodhana walks up to his teacher. Duryodhana walks up to his teacher Dronacharya, and they both are having conversation. And he points out the mistake. This is from previous verse. He points out the mistake of his teacher Dronacharya, saying that you taught Drishtadyumna, and look, now Drishtadyumna is standing right opposite to you. And then this verse, he is saying that although Drishtadyumna may not be a very big obstacle for you, but there are many other warriors who are very formidable, equal in strength to Bhima and Arjuna. Because he knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna, he is comparing others with them. So Duryodhana is looking at the army on the opposite side, and he is talking about the people in the army on the opposite side to Dronacharya. You want to add something or read
No.
further? Okay, let's read further. Text number 5.
5.
You want to read?
दृष्टकेतु चेकितान काशीराजस्य वीर्यवान् पुरुजित् कुन्दीभोजच्च शैवच्च नरपुङ्गव. There are also great heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Sekitana, Sigitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kundibhoja, and Saibhya. Yeah, not only this heroic, but all these are the powerful fighters are here mentioning.
Yeah.
Drishtaketu, Kashiraja, Purujit, Saibhya.
Yeah. These don't have purport, so you can keep reading till we get a purport. You want to read further? Text 6.
Yes, I am. Yudhamanyucha Vikranta Uttamaujachya Viryavan Saubhadro Draupadesyacha Sarva Eva Maharatha. Here there are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra and the son of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Oh, in 5 and 6 are mentioning the powerful warriors.
Yeah, this is on the opposite side of Duryodhana's army.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Asmagam tu Vishishtaye Tani Bodha Dvijotama Nayaka Mama Sainasya Samjatham Tan Brava Vimithe. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Military force.
So he starts to look at his army now. So
Yes.
4, 5, 6, he's talking about the opposite army. Starting from 7, he starts to look at his own army. All this is still conversation between Duryodhana and Dronacharya.
Yes. Now where we are?
We are 8. Yeah.
No. Asmagam. That is the one? No.
You read the 7. Now you can read 8.
Yeah. Bhavan Bhishmacha Karnacha Kripacha Samitim Jaya Ashwatthama Vigarnacha Saumadati Satai Tadeva. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikrana, and son of Somadatta called Huri Sharva, who are always the victorious in battle. But Duryodhana mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikrama is the brother of Duryodhana, Ashtathama is the son of Dronacharya, and Saumathi and or Bursharva is the son of king of the Balikas. Karna is the half brother of Arjuna, as he was born in Kundi before the marriage with the king Pandu. Kripakariya twin sister married Dronacharya. Yes, they are explaining the most victorious people in the opposite side. Not the opposite side, this is their side. Even though all other people are there, but this side also we are not the victorious people also here, that is mentioning.
Yeah.
Vikrana and the Ashwatthama, Karna, Kripacharya, everything.
Yeah. So let's read further. Text number 9 says, Anye cha bhava shura mad arte tyakta jivitaha nana shastra praharanai sarva yuddha visharadaha. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. As far as the others are concerned, like Jayadratha, Kritavarma, and Shailya, all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of the sinful Duryodhana. Duryodhana was, of course, confident of his victory on account of the above-mentioned combined strength of his friends. So, he is telling Dronacharya that all these people in my army, they are ready to lay down their lives for me. And Prabhupada is writing, which means that it is already told, he also knows that they are going to die.
Yes.
But still, Duryodhana feels confident of his victory because of the above people. Which is, so he's just feeling confident, but on the other side, he also knows that they are going to die.
Okay. Aparyaptam tatasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam paryaptam thita medesham balam bhimabhirakshitam. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma. whereas the strength of Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. But herein, an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specifically protected by the most experienced general grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of Pandavas are limited, being protected by less experienced general Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhima. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident in his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was the far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious as well as ended. Here, Duryodhana and his brother, they are very proud about, not proud, they are very confident that their victory will happen because of Bhishma. And Duryodhana thinking like that, yes, they will victor it.
So one information here in this purport is the general on Duryodhana's side is Bhishma, and the general on the opposite side, Pandava's side, is Bhima.
Bhima.
So Bhima is almost like a great grandson of Bhishma, because Bhishma is very, very old. And so Bhishma is very experienced in battles. He has fought many, many battles and he has won many, many battles. So Duryodhana is considering that I have the most experienced general, whereas Pandavas, they have a less experienced general who is Bhima. So he's helping himself to become confident that he will win the battle, because his Bhishma is the one he is looking at, and his confidence is coming from Bhishma being on his side. Okay, you want to add something or read further?
No, they're thinking that they are powerful because of Bhishma. And afraid, and a little afraid about Bhima also.
Yeah, later we see that Krishna, although what Duryodhana is saying is true, Bhishma is very powerful. But later we will see that because Bhishma was on the side of unrighteousness, he, although how much ever powerful a person is, he will not win. Because the right always wins. That's what this whole thing of Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata war is showing, that Bhishma was so powerful that Bhishma can die when he wants to die. Nobody can kill him. Meaning he conquered death. Who can conquer death? Nobody. But Bhishma was a person who had a benediction that he will die only when he wants to die. So, and Duryodhana's confidence is Bhishma is on my side. Who can defeat me? But Krishna's point of this whole Bhagavad Gita war is, if you are on the side of unrighteousness, no matter how much ever powerful you are, victory is not yours. The right always wins. So always be on the side of dharma. Because Bhishma was on the side of adharma, no matter however powerful he was, he could not win.
Yes.
So let's read further. Text 11 says, Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avasthitaha bhishmam eva bhirakshantu bhavantaha sarva eva hi. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Purport. Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Deva was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man. So everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Deva. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya in the battle because he well knew that they did not speak a word when Arjuna's wife, Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice when she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that these two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up as they had done during the gambling performances. So, the point is being emphasized here that Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya both remained silent when Draupadi was being disrobed in the assembly of great generals. That was the unrighteous thing that they did. And because they were quiet then and they didn't speak up, Duryodhana is thinking that, okay, they are on my side now also. But the diplomatic point of Duryodhana is that all this while Duryodhana was talking to Dronacharya, now he moved to Bhishma and all others, and he's saying, although Bhishma is very powerful, he's a very old man. So all of you should protect him. So he is playing a diplomatic position, saying that wanting everybody to feel that they are also important. But in his heart, he feels he will win because of Bhishma and Dronacharya. But he doesn't want others to feel that they are not important. So he is also telling them, oh, because Bhishma is very old, you all should protect him. So this is a very duplicitous heart. Meaning you have something in your heart and you express something else outside, which is not a very simple-hearted person. People who are simple, whatever they have in their heart, they will express freely. But Duryodhana is not like that. Duryodhana is very diplomatic. Also, one more thing to notice here is Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya. So if something wrong is happening in front of us and we keep quiet, meaning we are participant of that crime. If we see something wrong happening, then we do something about it. We don't just
Ignore
sit
it.
quietly and watch. And that was the unrighteous thing on the part of Bhishma and Dronacharya.
Mm.
Like Vidura was in the same assembly. Vidura got up and left. He couldn't do anything because Dhritarashtra was the king and the king's order has to be followed. So he did not violate that, but Vidura stood up and left. He walked away. So if you see something wrong happening, then you do something about it. You may not be able to stop it, but then you have to express your unwillingness to accept what is happening. Otherwise, you are equally part of the wrong thing that's happening.
Mm.
And you pay for it, or we will pay for it if we don't voice our opinion for the wrong that's happening. Like Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya paid for it.
Yes.
So that's one message for us to look into our own lives and see how simple-hearted we are. Are we able to express things that are in our heart as it is? Are we able to stand up and say, hey, I don't think this is right? The person may not listen, he may walk away. But then on our part, we should stand up and say, hey, what you are doing, I don't think it is right. In a nice way, but we should say.
Yes.
So that's our text number 11.
Mm.
Should we stop here or do one more?
One more.
Okay.
Tasya samjayan harsham kuruvartha pidamaha sinhanadam vinathyochai shangham dado pratapavan. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of lion, giving Duryodhana joy. But the grandsire of Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the heart of his grandson Duryodhana, and out of his natural compassion for him, he tried to cheer him by blowing the conch shell very loudly, befitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the conch shell, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side. But still, it was the duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection. Yes. Here, Bhishma very loudly blowing the conch shell, to please his grandson Duryodhana, and also he saw his cheerfulness, but he knows that Duryodhana will not win because the other opposite side Krishna is there. And that's the way it is stopping. Lord Krishna was on the other side, but still it was his duty to conduct the fight. Yes, he doing his duty.
Yeah. So one lesson to learn from here is we do our duty very nicely.
Yeah, even though we know that they will not, yes, that is very correct. Even though we know that it will not succeed, but you have to do it very,
It succeed or it does not succeed is not in our hands anyways, right?
yes.
So then why worry about the result? Krishna says, service is your department, result is my department. So you just do your duty nicely. What result comes out of the duty is not your department anyhow. You don't have any control over it. Although you think you have, but then in actuality, we don't have control over what result comes. We just do our duty.
Yeah, but here different. He knows that, Bhishma knows that they don't win it. But still he making, even though he knows that, but still he making his duty happily, cheerful.
That's the extreme case. But what Bhishma is teaching us is you always do your duty nicely. It's a teaching for us that irrespective of whatever result you feel will come, you do your duty nicely. So that's one lesson we can learn, that doing our duty nicely is very important.
Yes.
Like even in our case, if you see, I go to attend an interview in a company for a job, all I can do is attend the interview. Whether I pass in the interview or I don't pass in the interview is not in my hands anyhow. But all that is in my hands is I go and I do the best I can.
Yeah, your effort.
Yeah, so effort and mercy. So we put effort, and when Krishna's mercy descends, then we see Krishna being happy. But then we put our effort. Similarly, for chanting, we chant, we put our effort to chant, but then when will that day come when we can chant purely, when our mind doesn't wanders, we are hearing every single syllable that we chant? When will that day come in our life? We don't know. Every day we wake up and chant, and every day our mind wanders. So although we know that our mind will wander, we wake up and we still chant.
Yes.
That is our effort. And when Krishna's mercy descends, then that day, may we all be able to chant purely. But we have to wake up and chant every day. Although we know that our mind will wander. We know very well. But thinking that, oh, my mind will anyhow wander, what is the use? Let me not chant.
No.
So we chant and we train the mind to not wander. We are chanting so we can train the mind. Like before we take up a job, they put us on training or probation for 3 months, 6 months, just to train us. And slowly we become trained, and then one day we can perform the task that they want us to do. Similarly, every day we wake up and chant. What we are trying to do is we are training our mind to chant purely. And one day that day will come, whenever Krishna desires, that we will be able to chant purely. But we have to continue the practice part of it. That is our duty. We do our duty nicely.
Yes.
Okay, so let's stop here and we can read again next week.
Yes. Text 30. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare
And
Krishna.
you send that recording.
Yes, I'll send you. I'll upload the recording and I'll send the link on the group chat. Maybe you ask me to add that Madhuri also. I will add her in the group.
Okay. Then she knows that when it starts. I sent a message, but she didn't join it. I don't know what happened.
It is very early for them in India in the morning, right? It's
Right now she's in Chicago with her son.
oh, okay.
That's why last 2 weeks I am telling I will join you. I will tell to Mataji to join. But last week we don't have the session. I messed up.
Okay.
Okay. And this is good.
Okay. I will add her so she knows, and then I can send the link also. So we all have it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.